guess if you could start by just spelling your name
Sure.
and giving your title.
Sure. My name is Joe Bruscato, last name spelled B like in boy, R-U-S-C like in cat, A-T like in Tom, O. I'm the state's attorney of Winnebago County.
All right, and you're opposed to this current proposal to abolish the death penalty?
I'm opposed to the current proposal to abolish the death penalty.
And could you maybe run through just a quick summary as to your opposition to that and why you think it isn't a good idea at this time?
Well, at this point, and your statement is correct, it isn't a good idea at this time. The attempt to use the veto session to review legislation of this magnitude, I believe, is just inappropriate. If you're going to take a look at something as large as abolishing the death penalty, I think we should take the occasion to have appropriate hearings, appropriate evidence submitted, individuals given the opportunity to be heard. In a veto session, that opportunity just does not exist for proper consideration of important legislation, and I consider the abolishing of the death penalty to be important legislation. Beyond that, I do believe that the death penalty has an appropriate place in the criminal process. I do believe that it has an appropriate place in Illinois. There are important safeguards in place to protect those who claim innocence, and I think that it is a sufficient and an appropriate deterrent to crime, and it is an appropriate punishment for the worst of the worst, those who would commit heinous murders in our communities across the state.
Now you said you don't like the manner in which it's being pushed through, this veto, very quick notice, but those on the other side would argue that there's been a moratorium for 10 years. This has come up before in the General Assembly. Pretty much both sides have already argued their points. What would you say in response to that?
Well, I understand that the moratorium's been in place and this is an issue that has been debated, but these are one of those issues that are going to continue to be debated no matter what it is we do today. The difference is that this would be an actual change in the law itself, and when you're going to actually envision or engage in a change, I think that's when it's appropriate to have your largest discussion. The fact that this has had an opportunity to be discussed for years is not persuasive to me, because I believe this is an issue, no matter what happens today or in the future, will continue to be debated like so many other hotly contested, important issues that impact society on both sides.
If there is a repeal of it today, how would that affect your job, what you do on a basis dealing with these kind of cases?
In Winnebago County, we'll continue to do the best we can to prosecute. Winnebago County, unfortunately, has the highest crime rate per capita in the state of Illinois at this time. And as long as that continues, we got to do everything we can in Winnebago County to do what we can to deter crime. And we'll continue to do that regardless of what the vote is here today. But again, I believe that abolishing the death penalty is a mistake. I believe it should stay as an appropriate punishment.
Is the death penalty, just in general, a good deterrent for criminals?
I believe that the death penalty is an appropriate deterrent for those that are considering committing heinous crimes like murder. And I believe that it is appropriate law and it should remain on the books in Illinois.
All right.